Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Grumbleduke from the Wave Gamers, and I'm here with another JDL3, Join Dota League 3 match, this time coming from our own Wave.XIL team. They're going up against Late Game Tango, and this is going to be quite an interesting match, actually. Quite an important match as well, judging by where the teams are standing on the league table at the moment. Let me just make sure I've got that information up correctly. There we go. Right, okay, Wave.XIL is currently standing at 8 wins and 2 losses. We're very proud of them for that. And Late Game Tango, their opponents, are one position higher with 2 more games played at 9 wins and 3 losses. So if this game were to go 1-1, then they would be even. If Wave can win these 2 games, then they're ahead. If Late Game Tango can win these 2 games, then they're ahead. And this is all for 2nd place in the division, so it couldn't be much more important. Of course, the first team in the tournament has 15 wins and 1 loss, so I'm not sure anybody will be catching up to them. But that's how things stand at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Fingers crossed, this is going to be this is going to be a good game for our XIL boys. Okay, so first up, banning out the Brewmaster, the Void, the Lycan, and the Shadow Shaman, all very strong picks. Some heroes that were very big very recently, not banned out yet. Invoker, Doom. So I'm slightly surprised by that, and I'm very happy with the Shadow Shaman ban. Nobody respects Shadow Shaman these days. He's about the only support I would consider banning in the first phase, and you don't see it very often. And I personally don't do it very often, in all honesty. But I do like the fact that Late Game Tango did it. It just works so well with so many strategies. It's killer in lane. It's killer throughout the game, based on what the Serpent Wards can do to any kind of push or counter push. Yeah, amazing hero. Davidy choosing to pick up the Viper. He's very happy with that. Generally goes for a side lane Viper. And then the Beastmaster for the off lane. Now, I know Umag does a fairly decent Beastmaster. That must be the pickup there. And of course, they are on the Dire side, so you can get a nice bit of Ancient stacking in as well. But yeah, it's just a very bold course, picking up 2 cores like that straight off the bat. It gives away that they're not going to have too much push now. They're not going to have a huge amount of core melee right click. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Admittedly, Shadow Shaman is gone. He is, as previously mentioned, my favourite support. But I think they might want to have kept their offlane a little bit more flexible for a little bit longer. You never know when you're going to need the Centaur move speed or anything like that. And I'm almost certain, for anybody who's wondering, that is going to be an offlane Beastmaster rather than a mid or anything like that, just because I know Wave.XIL pretty well. Late Game Tango picking up Jakiro, another excellent pushing, disabling, late game magic damage support. Personally, to me, people say he's not squishy. He kind of is, if we're honest. Be honest with yourself, ladies and gentlemen. His push is absolutely great. It's his disable that to me it's not worth it. The cooldown's great, but you need so much setup just to be able to land that, and it's not that good if you look at the timing. And so I'm always a little bit iffy, but he's a fair support. And then of course the Tidehunter for their offlane. He's another one who can stack Ancients in the offlane on the Dire side, but of course he's going to have to do without that here. And that AoE disable is just going to be absolutely huge. And I think I've just got music coming on. One moment, sorry. Alrighty, Roo. So the DP and the Enigma get banned out. Now, that's kind of surprising to me from Late Game Tango, just because they're the ones so far who seem to be going for AoE control. And sure, you don't want your opponents to get it either, but I would have thought it would be Exiles who'd be banning out things like DP and Enigma, who just work so well with Tidehunter.
Dyer's pick.
I'm trying to think what Exiles should pick up here. I honestly think a Naga mid might give them. It's the last real option to me to pick up some real proper CC control. Large AoE disable. Gone for the Wraith King. It's a good pickup, and of course it can be a support or a carry, so it throws your opponent off a little bit. But I think what they need to be focusing on now is lockdown. Both Beastmaster and Wraith King have stuns, but they're both single target, whereas Jakiro and Tidehunter both have stuns, both AoE. And about the only downside really to the Late Game Tango disables is that Ravage has a huge cooldown. This is going to be an interesting game. Exile's also panning out Invoker and Earthshaker. I honestly think they're just trying to fill the slots with stuff that would set up nicely for a kind of big control strategy. They've got an idea about what Late Game Tango are trying to do. If Invoker were to initiate with Tornado EMP or Earthshaker with Fissure, that would be amazing setup for the Tidehunter. And it's a kind of situation where you just keep the entire enemy team disabled for 3 seconds, and then another 3 seconds, and then another 3 seconds, and then they're all dead. Pretty much regardless of what you do, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, that's a thing. Wow, Enchantress. I have not seen a huge amount of Enchantress coming out from these guys. Not at all. That is really interesting to me. I'm not sure where they're going to play it. I'm not sure who is going to play it. Wow. Okay, that's cool. That's totally cool. I know I've heard them talking about it before. The lure, maybe especially the potential for Enchantress just to build up her own farm in the jungle and then come out with Centaur Stomp, which even off a creep is one of the best stuns in the game early level, and just gank mid or gank the safe lane. But I have never seen them do it. I don't know whether this is something they've been sneakily practicing behind my back or something to be confident enough to bring it out in what is a very important game. But yeah, interesting. And Late Game Tango going for the Magnus. That's of course another nice crowd control option. It groups people together. The strange thing about that though is it's generally set up for something. Now you don't really need that kind of setup for Tide because the AoE on Ravage is just so big. You don't really need him to be set up by grouping everybody into a really small space. I guess it's good setup for the Jakiro though, for both Ice Path and Macropire, which has never made sense to me how you could get both of those. You know, if you lay down a Path of Ice and then you lay down boiling fire on top of it, you're gonna melt the ice, bro. But c'est la vie. That's how it goes. One quick moment, everybody on Twitch. I just need to do something very quickly.
Ten seconds to go.
5
seconds.
Bane and Naga both banned out. No, again,
Reserve time.
I find the Naga ban slightly strange. I would have thought that they would have wanted to pick that up, make sure that they can secure themselves a way to set up, even just in terms of positioning, around this team, which is so big on the teamfight control. That said, though, they do have the Wraith King, and one of the best things about Wraith King, when you've got this team that's going to be very dependent on Macropire and Ravage and RP, is that you can knock him down, and he'll be straight back up again 5 minutes later. If the rest of the team can survive, if they can force him to do this initiation on the Wraith King, then Exile have a great chance of just ignoring all of the ults.
10
It's going to be tricky, though.
go.
They do need to pick up something here. Let me see. They're probably going to be going for a lane support. In all honesty, they play Wraith King as a carry 9 times out of 10. And they go for the Mirana.
Radiance pick.
Well, it's range deeps. It gives them another way to team fight. They don't have to rely on control. They can rely on the invis to set up for beautiful ganks. And Late Game Tango picking up the Weaver for their safe lane carry. That's a good choice. There's not a huge amount to counter that in the Exile squad. It'll make it's a hard carry. You'll be able to get away from Mirana ganks fairly easily unless the stuns are lined up perfectly. But I'm just wondering now, the Mirana pickup, especially with Lua playing it, yeah, that's going to be a carry Mirana, and Shadow taking a support Wraith King. So, for the benefit of anybody who doesn't know these guys as well as I do, because they're my best friends, my chums, let's introduce the Wave.XIL squad. Here we go. We have Davidy on Viper, whose name just shows up as a team tag. That's a bit weird, but that's Davidy Stevenson. On the Mirana, we have... Oh yeah, they changed it. Before, when you clicked on the portrait, it would change this as well. It doesn't do that anymore, which makes me kind of sad. But here we go. Lua on the Mirana. On the Beastmaster, I've got to do all this ridiculous clicking around. We have Umag, aka the Playmaker. That's his name amongst those who know him. On the Enchantress, we have Yapplejack, and finally on the Skeleton King, we have Shadow, who's the most recent member of the squad. All very proud of him. Looks like all 5 of the Radiant team have heading over to the top lane. So let's get them introduced. On the Magnus, we have Kooky. I like that name. On the, let me get her in vision. Where's the, oh, Weaver, sorry. On the Weaver, we have Ridley. On the Tidehunter, stay still, you bastards. On the Tidehunter, you know what, screw this. On the Tidehunter, we have Mega Man. On the Jakiro, we have Fresh to Death. And finally, on the Wind Ranger, we have something really confusing, MCP Obid, that's your name. Oh, and they aren't. Are they? Could they possibly be? Are they trying to bait out a level 1 Roche? I mean, it's quite clear that LGT are not anticipating this. They are looking for a level 1 gank up into the dire jungle. Both teams doing something very impressive early game. Of course, when both teams do something impressive in opposite ends of the map, nothing impressive happens. 4 Radiant heroes at mid. I think it's looking like XIL might have the edge on getting back in time to get their blocks off, but of course they're going to have that advantage naturally, just since they are dire and their position was around Roche, so of course they don't have very far to go. But let's see how these blocks are going. Umag doing a decent job up on this Beastmaster. He's going to be looking to just get whatever experience he can in lane, and then really just spend 99% of his time stacking Ancients. There's a lot of stun in this lane if they can get Shackle down properly and follow it up with an Ice Path, and a lot of damage with Weaver. I'm actually, oof, good luck, Umag. Good luck, my friend. He's really going to have to be securing his own farm there. Wait, is the game really quiet? Hello? Hello? Let me quickly check my audio options here. Put that up a bit, I don't know. Yeah, let's get a bit more of the booms and the crashes. How does that sound, guys? A bit more of the booms and the crashes. Right, there we go. I think that's all the audio issues done. And let's get the last hits up. Okay, so our mid matchup is going to be Magnus running up against Mirana. Instant range advantage to Mirana, but of course Magnus does have the range harass coming out from Shockwave. Pops his clarity now. Lua really wants to be looking to try and get that off him. So far, Lua, I would say, winning on the last hits. Less in the last hits, but 2 more denies. It's early to call it. Did she dodge that Shockwave? I think she did. That was very close. Very well dodged. Lua starting off with 1 extra item, an extra step of agility. I'm probably going to go bottle after that. Magnus doing a bit more of a hard bottle rush. Just getting pulled tangos by his team. He's already got his bottle up, and that's essential for him for landing that Shockwave, which is the only way he's going to be able to keep his presence up. It's always going to be scary for him laning against the ranged hero. So much opportunity for harass. He just needs to make it equally scary for her using Shockwave. Meanwhile, up on top lane, we have Mega Man. Now, Tidehunter's a great offlaner. Just the resistance he gets out of Kraken Shell. But Viper, with the slow, with the additional damage when he starts getting low, you know, he's a great laner. And here comes the first gank coming out from Enchantress. The Applejack getting into that jungle, getting into that Tidehunter with the Centaur, gets the stun down. Davidy now here to add the damage, and this looks to be first blood, and it's going to go to Davidy as well. Exactly what you want on a position 1 Viper. The only way to make it work is to make sure at all times that you are getting kills, because you're going to need a lot of items to make up for the fact that his passive abilities do kind of peter off compared to other carries. Although Viper versus Weaver, I would honestly say that, you know, farmer side, I would say Weaver probably carries harder and is just slightly more flexible. Oh yeah, anybody who's watching also, please do follow and subscribe if you want to see more games like this. I've recently also got a little shout out app that I'm desperate to test. So if you're not already subscribed, please do hit the follow button, and you should get a little thing coming down from the top. If not, give me a shout and I'll fix that, because I just really want to test it. That's right, I don't really want you to follow. No, I just want to test my little new app. I can see Scooter desperately trying to put in emoticons in the in the chat. Oh, Magnus with an Invis rune. He's going to be looking to get a good charge on Lua. Oh, and it misses. That would have been good. If he'd managed to get that up there, that actually would have been a couple of tower hits down on what would otherwise be a very squishy hero. But the timing was slightly off, and that's a wasted opportunity for Magnus. Oh, and he catches the stun. Decent bit of damage there coming out from Lua. She's just, given how cautious this Magnus is playing, I think the idea behind using the arrow is just, it's the best nuke she has. Given that the final second half of the nuke on Starstorm is randomized, I think he's just trying to land decent arrows, and if he can land them, that'll be decent harass. But it's a bit of a gamble. Meanwhile, Umag getting caught out possibly by. Nope, the shackle didn't quite manage to latch on a tree. There wasn't a frost path to follow up on it, and he's beaten back. He's a little bit low, but he's doing fine. And level 3, I think the levels might actually be more important than the gold in this match. Tidehunter on 4, despite dying, actually out leveling his other offlane counterpart, and we missed. We missed Windranger being killed by the Dire? I do not remember that. That must have happened on bot lane with just a dive into tower damage or something, which of course doesn't count as first blood. But yeah, interesting. So first blood still went to Davidy getting that Tidehunter down. They're going to need a few more things like that. Tidehunter already at 5. I mean, this is they're doing a great job with the Enchantress in the jungle, and hopefully it should be able to give them a bit of an XP lead. But it does mean they're not shutting down the offlane quite as much as they could be. These pulls coming out now are going to do a great amount of work. Davidy getting the Qs in. He's doing the right thing. One more? No. Yeah, probably a wise choice. What is... Davidy, what are you doing with a Sage's Mask and a Ring of... Okay... Oh, okay. So he's building Aquila, Tranquils, and Mech. Okay, I think... The thing, I hope he realizes that when he comes back with that Ring of Protection, it completes the recipe for both the Aquila and the Tranquils, and I'm not actually sure which one of those is going to be built out of preference to the other. Mega Man getting very, very out of place here. There's going to be a stun coming in from Wraith King. Enchantress is coming in too, going to try and help out with the damage, and they're going to get him, and it's going to be another kill for Davidy. So it did finish the Ring of Aquila rather than the Tranquils. Bone Spot, most popular ward 2014. Everybody loves it. Everybody hates it. Bone Ward. Umag sitting still on level 4. See, this is what a tri-lane does to an offlaner. He's just out of XP so much. Ancients, he has not been stacking the Ancients. That is not good, Umag friends. See, that's the thing about Beastmaster in the offlane. When you're getting dived like this and kind of just murdered by a tri-lane, if you've got the Jakiro DOT manages to get the kill. Shadow has come in though. He's got a stun. He'll be looking to get any pickoffs he can. Unfortunately, the back out's going to be fairly fast. But what I was saying about the Beastmaster, when you put him in the offlane, he's got a really easy way to stack and damage the Ancients. And the idea is that even if you are level 4 at the 7-minute mark or whatever, and you're behind, at any time you're going to be able to decide, all right, I'm going to get my Ancients now. Back over here, get them, and suddenly you've caught up. You've got 3 levels, you've got 1.5k gold. So it works. You've caught up. Now Umag hasn't been getting the lane or the Ancient XP, which does concern me slightly, I must admit. What I'd hoped to see, despite him being level 4, was a stack of maybe, what minute are we on, 7? 3 or 4, more would be even better, but it's not always possible. 3 or 4 stacks on that Ancient. And also he's keeping his mana very, very high, which I appreciate. It's important to use it, but like here, this is an opportunity. We just hit the 8-minute mark. He could have been getting an Ancient stack there. Even if he'd missed a couple of last hits, it would have paid off. When you consider the gold you get from stacking those Ancients once. I think that might have been a bit of a mistake. Also, the LGT team really don't have a team that could contest that early on. We did also get another kill going down up on top, which I unfortunately missed. Windranger doing a quick rotation and getting a kill off on the Viper, who's actually been getting all the kills up here on this top lane. So that must have been a fair bit of gold for her. 240 this early in the game. Fair, whatever, not a huge amount. Lots of kit being sent out to Wraith King. Just going for pure stats. This is a good way to build a support. It's a very cost-effective way of getting quite a lot of effect. Weaver is going to have enough for another Shikuchi after this, so there's no way they're going to catch him. Courier out harm's way. Now, Windrunner has been pinging this out,
Dire's middle
or
tower
Wind
is
Ginger,
being
as
attacked.
we of course call her. Oh, Davidy, you don't realize you've been spotted, boy. RP goes down, charged under the tower. He is dead meat. There's still the shackle if they need it. Where's the shackle? Where's the shackle? He's going to go down. Windrunner could have secured that a lot easier and actually made it so that it was a Magnus kill rather than just a Dire kill with gold split among assists. If she'd popped off a shackle, which I'm pretty sure was off cooldown, while Davidy was around here, and then just shackled him to the tree. I also thought we might have got away there for a second. Umag taking the advantage of an open lane to just very quickly clear out this bot. Meanwhile, Dive's going on top. Getting TPs in now from Viper after the respawn. Now this is an interesting point to make about gameplay. We have, with 4 rotations mid, LGT have kind of said they have to do something here. The only way that they can kind of draw even after investing this much in this push is if they can get 4 Dire heroes to rotate, which they have done now. So now they're quits. They can back off if they want, and it'll be nothing more than even Stevens. It's very often you see people kind of investing an awful lot in a push, it doesn't go anywhere, and then they back out, and they think they're doing fine because nothing too bad happened. But in fact they had 5 people in a lane, and the time is wasted. Didn't happen here though, so this might seem a little bit off kilter. I thought it was going to be relevant, it turned out not to be, because they did manage to force rotations from the Dire as well. And it looks like we are also going to get Divok into go cast match 2, which is going to be an absolute pleasure. Weaver now having a chance to go down on Umag. He will be able to get out of this no problem. If worst comes to worst, Soul Ring and ult, but he's already under the tower. He'll be absolutely fine. Opportunity, 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 opportunity. Stack them ancients. Ooh, he's taking the wrong way around. He'll be alright. Oh, in fact, he might be able to do it without using mana. Okay. Good job, Umag. Good job, Umag. Oh, and Lua might be dived on here. The leap's gone down. There's the arrow, going to take out a creep. That's probably going to end the push, actually. Or at least leave it at a stage where the tower ends up being deniable rather than... Oh, and Ravage goes down. Lua in a lot of trouble now. There's Macropire. So much DOT going down. Davidy's here. Gets a nice stun off on Obid. And a pick off on Morana as well. Magnus forced to charge to get out. Shadow chasing. He's faster because of the Viper slows. He manages to get the stun off. Where's Team? Team is gone. Shadow has to back out. The pings are going down on the Tidehunter instead. Umag forced to back up. They need someone to rotate down river. The smoke's gone down probably just for the movement speed. Yep, choosing to go back. Going off river. Yapplejack's found him. Couple of impetus should finish this off. One more. There comes the shockwave. It's good harass. Oh no! Mega Man moves out of vision. But he's going to be close when they go around the corner. Oh, close enough to pull back on the cast animation. Oh, and a nice charged shockwave from Magnus. Finishes off the Applejack on the Enchantress. Probably chased just a little bit too far there. But either way, a nice set of kills. So yeah, actually going the way of LGT. They've now pulled ahead 5-4, and let's have a quick look at the difference in XP. And yep, here we go. They're pulling back ahead now in terms of XP. So having a look at the gold, and they're ahead on gold now as well. So Wave kind of throwing away a little bit of a nice lead here. Oh, but Davidy's going to be able to get a deny here on this mid tower. Oh, if he's lucky. Oh, Weaver doing an excellent job there, just sneaking in and robbing Davidy of what should have been a totally fair and square deny. For anyone who's paying attention and wondering how he could have avoided that, and this would have been tricky. But if you cancel your attack animations, like he's doing now when you see this creep, where you're cancelling the backswing part of the animation by issuing another command, and then immediately issuing a command to attack again, you can actually increase your attack speed. If you'd been doing that on the deny on that tower, given that there was only about 1 or 2 hits in it, I think you would have got it. No problem at all. Meanwhile, big Radiant push going on bottom. Lua being forced to back out. I don't think this Weaver really understands how to use bugs to help push. Which is a whole story, which I'm not going to talk about now because we are about to have a team fight. Davidy TPing in as well. There's Wraith King. Oh, but there's a Magnus with the RP. A lot of damage going down on Davidy, but he does manage to get mech off, and now Shadow's here. RP's already gone down before the rest of the team turned up. Oh, nice Nether Strike. Goes down on Tidehunter, finishes him off. Magnus in real trouble here, finished off by Viper DOT. Shadow is invisible, but needs to back out. He's caught under the sentry ward. But Weaver, that close to a tower, is forced to back out rather than just try and pick up what must have been a really tempting kill. And there we go. 3 kills for Wave. That's my boys. And all solo. This means you run the hell away. Oh, and a beautiful Centaur stun coming out from Yapplejack, cancelling the Jakiro's TP, making it 4-0. Sadly, they didn't manage to catch out the Weaver, who of course would have been kind of target number 1, being the position 1 and all. But c'est la vie. Wow, man, this game is madness. This game is total madness. DD rune top. I'm wondering if Tide's going to be heading up that way to check it out, or whether he's going to go to stack Ancients or just do damage to them. The physical damage on Anchor Smash makes this the easiest way to finish up Tide. Ping's coming out from Jakiro. Let's defend bot, guys, and I think it's a good call. He's predicting a 5-man team heading, so they're going to need all 5 of them to defend it. But if Radiant can get all 5 of their people here, they're going to be able to go in with most of their ults. Wait, Windranger doesn't have... Wow. That's huge. Okay, TP and followed up by Ravage from the Tidehunter is going to put a lot of pressure down on this Dire squad. But they do manage to finish off the Tidehunter. Lua, who was a target for the Radiant side, actually manages to get out just. So that's 1 for nothing. Also with Ravage down, I really think XIL needs to just group up behind this creep wave and push. They should know that they're safe here. But no, they just want to back right up. 1 push going on top as well from Weaver. Lua sent to deal with that. I think this is kind of risky, actually. If Weaver had mana, he would definitely be able to just dive under this and finish off Lua. But Lua, at the same time, just managing to get a perfect deny off. Meanwhile, big potential building up on bottom, as Magnus does have a Blink Dagger sitting in the trees waiting for a Blink RP. Oh, the smoke goes down but is immediately cancelled, so they know someone is close. They're pinging out to go and check who it is. There's the RP, only hits Yapple, but the Shackle manages to hit too. The charge, I mean, he's hitting people, he's doing damage, but I'm not really sure what the plan is. Like, what are they trying to set up for? And Magnus is just picked off. Umag now being chased by Weaver. The next Shikuchi will get him to catch up, but he doesn't have the mana for it. He's still... Wow, 10 mana off. They get a sentry down, and that's a dead Weaver. Umag coming in, wondering if any damage is needed from Whirling Axes, not Whirling Axes, Wild Axes, and Shadowman pro support just finishing off the Windranger, getting himself a little bit of gold, and now 13 for 5 for Wave.XIL. I am so proud of these guys. Let's have a quick look at net worth. When the kill difference is this big, it's a little bit more important. And we see Jakiro here really struggling. The entire Dire team sitting comfortably in the middle of the net worth charts. Actually, you know, Mirana kind of catching up with the Radiant cause, just overtaking Weaver, and then Davidy, what's that, 2,000 ahead of the closest behind him, which admittedly is Magnus. And if Magnus were to pick up RP, things like that, that could be tricky. I'm sorry if the camera's been a bit random just now, guys. Sorry, I was focusing on the graph. Ward's coming out. Both teams know the other one has warded, I think. Oh yeah, of course, there's a sentry here. But it goes down, not quick enough. Dire ward. Still going to remain. Magnus has no way of spotting it out. Meanwhile, while they're bothering with those wards in the jungle, the Dire team, they're just saying, well, let's take another tower. With already some damage, Nether Toxin is going to be doing a huge amount here. Lua needs to get up an arrow. It lands perfectly on the Weaver. If they can get the damage down, they can nuke him down, and they do. Beautiful nukes coming out from Umag there, I think, mainly, although Lua gets the kill. But they've got the rest of the AoE control coming in now. Wraith King has died and come back. There'll be a stun coming out shortly on the Jakiro, but it looks like Murano just being used defensively to get the Wave team out without casualties. I think they maybe could have gone for something there, especially since all of the ults were down. Again, it's a question of the OGT team being so dependent on Ravage and RP and everything else. I do think if they go down and Wave are alive, that they could be a bit cheekier in terms of getting kills. But hey, they won the fight either way. No biggie. No biggie. Just checking on the Twitch chat. Yeah, Divok, I completely agree, man. I kind of think that Tide and Beastmaster should both have been stacking Ancients more. For a game where you have such good takers of Ancients, it's really quite weird. You know, you've got Magnus Cleave, like even aside from the two obvious ones, you've got Magnus Cleave and you've got Wraith King Vampirism, which both really help. Oh, and a nice blink RP from Kuki, and that's gonna get Lua dead. And the tower is deniable as well. Davidy wants it, but he knows it's team fight time. They're going to be able to pick off the Magnus very, very easily. Shadow just looking for another opportunity to get a stun. He just needs to hang around for a little bit more. That's a beautiful thing about Wraith being stunned, just such a short cooldown. And the tower is down from Umag. Nice ice path coming out from this Jakiro, but he is caught out by just one more impetus. And now it's just Windranger and Weaver left. Weaver desperately pushing top. See, if anyone's interested, the way you do push with bugs is you do the bugs so that it hits a creep wave here, so that when your creeps arrive, they can just attack the tower and the enemy creep wave is held up. Or the bugs can tank it for you while you nuke the creep wave and the creeps attack the tower and then you go back. Either way is fine, but you don't just bugs whenever. But I'm sure he knew what he was doing as well. I'm not too much Weaver pro. Lots of damage being taken by this tier 2. It would be the first in the game to go down, but other than that, the tower's actually even. XIL playing a very, very careful game here, which I think they're within their rights to do. Their support can scale very well. Yeah, they can afford to play around with this here, and especially since just taking it slowly has been working so well for them. Backing up, Shadow needs to get back. Davidy needs mana. Umag's heading out to farm. Looks like he's probably going to be going for a Necronomicon, and I think that's a good call. They need that push. There's a lot of AoE damage coming out from the LGT team as well, so it's quite easy for someone to accidentally proc the damage you get from killing the melee creep. Say that could be a very, very sneaky way of killing Weaver. Would pay to see that. Illusion Rune sitting at top. Roche has just come back up as well. That could be a key. That would be a key get for any team that could manage it. Defense mid coming out from Wave.XIL. I'm not entirely sure what they're anticipating here. And I think Davidy. No, it's not defense mid. It's group up for smoke. Who are they waiting on? Just Lua, who's out pushing top. Honestly, I think they go as. Yeah, they go as 4. Leave Lua to push top. Hopefully get some rotations up there so they can get a nice, quick, easy gank. And I'm going to zoom out so that we can see the action as it happens, as we prepare. Oh no, it's not. It's a smoke into Roche. I should have known. Davidy, you total troll. He just loves getting Roche. They got the Wraith King Aura. There's really nothing they can do here. The smoke actually probably unnecessary. There's no Radiant Wards, but still a good idea. They want to know that. And let's zoom back in and maybe go into spectator mode to watch Roche being absolutely murdered by the Dire team. Wraith King there taking some bashes, but it's not going to be enough. And Roshan is dead. Dun, dun, dun. Actually, kind of surprising that he wasn't killed before, in all honesty. Given that there's a Wraith King, given there's an Enchantress, given there's a Beastmaster, they're just... Come on guys, seriously. Magnus Illusion being pinged out. I would hate to see XIL suddenly initiate and spend a whole lot trying to kill that. Of course it's an illusion. Luckily they don't. They're just going to back up again, farm the jungle. They need to push the waves out a little bit before they really try and take advantage of that Aegis. But then I'm 100% sure they will be looking to do a big push and get down the first tier 2 of the game once the lanes are just a little bit more in their favour. And actually, they're not going to get a huge amount of. They're not going to have a huge amount of problem doing this because LGT pretty much just farming the jungle. They've got one hero on mid, but both of the side lanes are being left alone. Admittedly, because they are pushed up, but like Windrunner. Not entirely sure. There we go. There we go. Not entirely sure what the deal is. Not entirely sure what the plans are. I think what LGT might be lacking a little bit of, and their draft really demands it as well. Actually, is just objective-based Dota. Just kind of, all right, what are we doing next? All right, next we're taking top tier 2. Sorry. All right, how are we doing it? Well, we're going to get smoke. We're going to go in. We've got Blink up on Tide and Magnus. Either one of them sees an opportunity. They're going to blink, go for it. We'll be grouped. We'll take it. What they're doing instead is just kind of splitting out, and all this great team fight they've got is kind of being wasted. And you can see they know how to use these abilities. Magnus has fluffed a couple of charges, but nothing major. When they are together, they're doing a great job. Absolutely great job. They're taking fights, which, you know, XIL are being cautious here, not just because they want to play safe. They're being cautious because LGT have proven that they can do serious damage. But there just isn't the organization to kind of make those situations. It's just kind of when they're all ready, they'll do well. But they need someone saying, all right, top next, bottom next, we're going to go contest Roche. Something like that. It could be that they're waiting for a couple of key items, but you can't play the whole early game looking like that. And they've got their blinks out. Weaver also going to have Lincolns up fairly soon. That's going to be very, very useful for him. Actually, skipping the upgrade on the boots. Personally, I tend to finish off the power trip before I go Lincolns, but that's a me thing, and I don't play a very good Weaver. So that could well be Ridley being right and me being wrong. Dun, dun, dun. Da, da, da. He desperately wants that Lincoln Sphere. See the bugs. The bugs requires a little bit more thought. All I'm saying. So useful. If you can get to the stage where you can just land those bugs on a creep wave, just you know where the creep waves are. You've got that kind of Zen sense. Right, if I do it there now, even though I got no vision, I know that there'll be a creep wave, and bam, oh, poof, oh, perfect. But nothing like that coming out from Ridley. But what is very obvious is he does know how it can be used, and he's doing his best, which is how you learn. Let's have a quick look here. XIL, Lua, looking to farm up the mid lane. He'll be looking to drop a Star Storm on this wave, so just going to try and nuke it down gradually, and then... Oh, where was the extra one? I didn't see it. Must have missed it. Okay, LGT have grouped up now, but they're splitting... Nope, they're not splitting up again. Nope. They are chaining through the jungle. They do have Smoke of the Siege. They're going up to one of the most common ward placement spots. They're very lucky Dyers don't have a ward here. Speaking of which, actually, that's quite an important point. Well, these wards for Dyer... Okay, let's have a quick talk about wards. This one is good, but I think XIO should be trying to be more aggressive. Like, that's certainly a useful ward, but I would have liked to have seen one here, even one here would have been great. And then, you get defensive wards up if you've got spare wards after that. This one, I hate this ward. Absolutely hate it. Can't see the point of it. Think it's absolutely useless. Please never put it there. There's so many better places. There's this spot. Maybe right at the beginning of the game. That's a good spot where you just want it to be able to cover the rune and the gang spots. But not that great a ward spot for later. Big potential here as well. Both blink initiators here for LGT. In fact, all 10 heroes on the map. Mega Man does his blink in, but he's not close. Oh, and just walks into an arrow. Does manage to get the Ravage off, but he's going to be down very, very shortly. This Magnus not having luck landing multi-person RPs. Manages to charge Viper Strike through Macropire, and he's just going to be brought down by right clicks now. So it's Magnus and Tidehunter both down. The rest of the LGT team kind of just being chased off this tower now. And Shadow goes for the blink. Gets the stun off. He needs a lot of crit. Oh, he gets it! Beautiful kill from Shadow. He's really getting this Wraithkin support down. And that'll be another tier 2 for XIL. I don't really think there's much LGT can do here, to be honest. Certainly they have the potential to win, just given that they have such amazing team fight, but they're not showing the coordination they need to get it off. Like what was happening there is Tide went in, wasn't going to happen. He should have backed up. That's not a problem at all. And then you just wait for the green to be off cooldown and you go for it again. But what they really needed to do there was wait for a good opportunity for the RP and then have the Ravage. Dyer now completely free to just dive behind the tower. Of course, Radiant do have very short cooldowns. They're going to be coming back and trying to contest this. Shadow looking incredibly low. He does have ult. He wants to use his stun before he dies. He does. He's so low. Wraith King down, of course, that matters not a bit. There is so much damage being done to this tower. Just by the fact that the team fight is going on here means that this tower is absolutely doomed. Dyer are actually comfortable fighting way beyond the point where it should be LGT's territory, 100%. And now Ridley being caught out, his Lincoln just popped, he's hit by a Wraith King stun, and Shadow manages to finish it off there as well. Is this Wraith King support or Wraith King carry? He's 4-0 and 14. Excellent play, and just really a great sense of when to go in. Mega Man now on the Tidehunter being caught out by Lua and Umag on the Beastmaster. Jakiro comes in to try and support, but he's the one who goes down. Lewis should be looking to land a perfect arrow there to try and pick off either one of these heroes when they come in. Cooldown in 1. Right, arrow off cooldown. They're going to focus on getting this Rax. I hope. Rax is down, and now are XIL going to be cautious, as has been their pattern? That they are. They're just going to back out. And obviously it's a correct call. No tier 2s down on the other lanes, so obviously you've got to back out. Whew, that was a good fight for them. That was an excellent fight. Exactly what I think what XIL are doing really well at the moment is, and I say this fondly, but they're not always the best at this. But what they're doing a really great job of this game is just knowing when they're in a position to be a bit more bold, and when they're in a position where they really have to run the hell away. Umag getting a great TP out there. I mean, one more hit, if one more of those hits had been a Germinate attack from Weaver and had right click twice, that would have been a dead Umag. But no, Umag too strong, Umag the playmaker. And yeah, so XIL pretty much just backing up, making sure everybody's healed. They're going to be ready to fight before LGT managed to push out anywhere near one of these two towers, really. See, this was that was a fairly decent use of bugs, just because he wasn't far enough forward to catch these creeps back here. But if you can imagine, if he'd done that when the creeps were back here and stopped them here before they aggroed his creeps, then him and the creeps could just have hit the tower. If these rotations had been a bit slower, they probably could have finished it, given that they had a catapult there. Bottom lane still hugely pushed out. This is going to be really crippling for LGT unless they can find some way to deal with it effectively, because they're so far behind in XP, they need to be 5-manning. It's not enough anymore to have the big team fight ults. They need to have all the supports getting their stuff in. Right clicks from everyone. Roshan up again, and Shadowman's going to initiate. The Viper ult goes down. Viper ult is one of those great ones where while it's active, you don't need to stun much. You know, he's so slow. The other great one is the Broodmother. The Broodmother slow. Broodmother, oh, I've been playing so much Broodmother lately. I'll make sure I get some up on the stream. Looks like XAL now just want to try and push down mid. I really hope LGT aren't underestimating how quickly they're going to get there. Unless they're planning on just stacking this tier 2 already. Yeah, I think they are. Weaver's too far out. Tide's only TPing back now. They can't save this tower. If they, I was going to say if they'd come back a little bit earlier, they probably could have tried it and actually tried to defend the tower. But it was so low, and it's at that stage in the game that maybe it was better to just sack it. But XIL now in a position to do damage to this mid tier 3, and that is exactly where they want to be at this stage. Blink Ravage comes in. Tide manages to get a 2-man RP. He's been waiting for this all game. The Beastmaster stun prevents him from getting a decent charge off though, and it's Wraith King down from Magnus, but of course the Wraith King coming right back. He'll be getting another stun off very, very shortly. Oh, Davidy goes down, but of course he does have Aegis now. Shadowman, his stun is off cooldown. Oh no, I'm not sure who he stunned there. And Jakira being brought down by the resurrected Viper, and Viper on full health with full mana halfway through a fight is just absolutely terrifying. This will be mid-racks, I think. I really can't see what can be done by LGT to prevent it really at this stage. The only person who's down is the support Wraith King with his first death of the game, which I think is just, yeah, absolutely great job, Shadow. And GG called out by Kuki. I actually really like that name. Good job, Kuki. And it's GG to XIL. Woo! So proud of my boys. Oh yeah, that was a great game. I'm just really impressed. At the beginning, it actually looked really close. It was 5-3 or 5-4 in favor of LGT at one stage. But I think XIL were playing a game where they were being maneuverable, getting pickoffs where they could, kind of swarming where they could, and they're very good at that kind of play style most of the time. LGT were trying to do a much more organized 5-man dependent team strategy, and they just didn't have the coordination to do it. But well played by everyone involved. That really could have gone totally differently if LGT had managed to get off some of their combos just a little bit better, just a wee bit, and bought time for the Weaver to get some damage items, things like that. Would have been huge. Anybody who's watching on Twitch or YouTube, please do stay tuned, because we're going to have the next game up in a second. And please do like, follow, comment, subscribe, whatever else like that, because it helps me do what I'm doing, and it helps the Wave get bigger and be in better tournaments and get better coaching and everything else like that. So anybody who's watching live, I'm just going to be switching over the stream to some music now. But stay tuned, we'll be back for the next one very, very shortly.